What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Serg Vicente, and this is episode 259 of the show, man. Thank you guys, as always, for joining me. Everybody who's watching right now on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, appreciate you guys, man. It's a wonderful day. It's Wednesday. It's the 20th. We got a new president. Had fights fucking 6 a.m. Shit's great. It's a good fucking day today, man. So I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. Unless you're probably Donald Trump or one of his buddies. In that case, fuck off. So, I have a fun show today. We got our fight roundtable because, we had fights last weekend. We had fights today. We have fights tomorrow. We got fight. It's fight week for real. And there is no fight week quite like a fucking Conor McGregor fight week. I can't lie. This motherfucker's amazing. And when he's box office. So Conor McGregor's back, UFC 257, and I have some friends to talk about it today. So let's go ahead and bring my men on the show. We got the Guru, B Cam, brother. Welcome back. How you feel?
What's good? What's good? Thank you for having me. I'm not sure if I'm a little delayed here. I'm having some internet issues, but we're gonna fight through it today. But
good,
here
bro.
As always.
Appreciate you, man.
Right. Well, I'm ready to get into it, man.
And then we also have from the Fantastic Sports Podcast from No Catch Up Chicago. What it do, my brother Sean?
You already know, man. Happy to be here. I'm always showing love to the Fight Podcast. Best fight podcast in the world. Let's get to it, man.
Let them know. Let these motherfuckers know. Well, check this out. Let's fix this because I don't like having y'all in the little boxes next to me, man. Let's have some equality in this bitch. Gentlemen, we got some fights coming up, and there's a lot of shit that we'll talk about today, and obviously, like I said, we'll get into it, but let's just jump. Let's just get into the shits, all right? This week, man, we have UFC 257, and I wanted to get your guys' perspective on this one because you guys, you said it yourselves, you're more of like casual MMA fans, but you're full-time fucking fight fans. Am I fair with that assessment?
Absolutely.
For both
Absolutely.
of y'all?
Yeah.
All right,
absolutely.
cool. I just wanted to make
exactly
sure,
right.
you know what I'm saying? And all of us, like I said, everybody's going to pay attention to a kind of fight. So I really want to get your guys' perspective on, because I get my head in the sand. I get to being like, the MMA guy. I'm in my own fucking cyclone. I you know what I'm saying? I need to hear what everybody else is saying. So, gentlemen, this fight's coming up. There's a lot of expectations. Before we really get into both of them, how do you feel the promotion has been? Are you guys hyped for this fight as I am? Sean, go ahead. What you thinking, bro?
Yeah, that's promotion is spotty because I think a lot of people are just now figuring out that he's fighting this week, and that's never good for promo. You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. I'm supposed to know McGregor's fighting last month, right? But the fight I don't think is cool. I think all the fights that have been going on and the fights during the day are legitimate. I was on the West Coast for quite a while in college, so I loved the early window. Like the NFL starting at 10 o'clock, sign me up. Like I was with that, so I feel you on that, Serge, where you're hype for the during the day, during the week.
Oh, we'll get into that. Fights. We'll definitely get into that.
Yeah, but I think the promo has been spotty. I think fighting UFC, boxing, whatever, has always had a hard time with promo. But prior to how the ESPN Plus deal for the UFC, like the pay-per-view thing was always kind of a turn-off for the casual folks if it wasn't a big-time name.
Right.
It's been all right, though. People know about it. You know what I mean? McGregor's doing his part.
Well, in that case, let me say this. So B, the Guru, bruh, what do you think McGregor is? Because there's been a change in Conor, right? Do you think he's still as enthusiastic about? Do you think the promo isn't what it once was because he's just not doing fucking promos anymore?
I don't think he has to do promos anymore, quite honestly. I mean, he's built his name. People know what Conor McGregor is about, and he's already captivated enough of an audience that we're going to show up to watch him regardless. Now, the other side of that is the UFC doing its job, and I'm not necessarily sure if they've done a good enough job of promoting this fight. Like, you should see Conor McGregor clips talking about, fuck that, I'm the double champ, and I'm sorry to absolutely nobody. Like, you should see that shit over and over and over, and I just feel like I haven't seen
clips.
Classic clips that you can just run over.
That's
what I'm saying. He's done his promo already. All you got to do is run those clips, and the fight will promote itself. He doesn't have to show up. We're in a COVID environment, so that I'm sure plays into it as well. But there's a lot going on. So you have the NFL playoffs, and that's absolutely huge. And I'm sure McGregor has fought during playoff season before, but the NFL playoffs are always a crazy, crazy thing to be competing with unless you're going to tag along with it. But, granted, they did well this weekend. I found myself flipping back and forth between the Packers game and the Max Holloway fight. So it is possible, but it's tough competition. Then you have the inauguration going on.
You have Max massacre? Oh my God.
Oh my God. We can get into that. I took some time to watch that. Max looked absolutely amazing. He was in the fucking zone. And I love to see it. The only thing I would have asked for is they need to stop that fight. Like that looked terrible.
Absolutely.
It looked terrible. I mean, like
I texted Serge. I'm like, look, bro, I get it. You a warrior and all that. Somebody in his corner he don't need this last 5 minutes, bro. Like, it's unnecessary.
Yo, he from Boston. Them Boston dudes are going to throw that towel in.
But, like, at what point does the ref do his job? Like, you have to take it out of the corner's hands as the ref. He never left his feet. So it's going to be difficult for the ref to stop the fight. But an accumulation over 4 rounds, you see what's happening. And at a certain point, you have to do your job. However,
he absolutely hit that Bobby Schmurder, though. He might not have fell, but he hit y'all with a Bobby Schmurder.
Yeah,
that motherfucker.
The end of that 4th round, he could barely stand. I don't necessarily know. I do not know why they were keeping him in the fight. I can understand a pride thing. No one wants to say that they quit. Don't let them quit. The corner does it for you. And nobody's going to be mad at you. You're getting massacred. Kids and women are watching this.
Sean, go ahead. What was your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, no. Well, first of all, listen, I think kind of along with the promo stuff, I feel like UFC in particular, there's like the diehards like you, and then there's like a middle casual, and then like, I don't watch that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Fact.
And I know guys like Max Holloway, right? I might not know the whole division like you would by name, where they're from, who they train with, etc. But I hear Max Holloway, I'm like, okay, I know this guy. I've seen some of his stuff. I'm gonna watch this fight. And it was competing with like Cam said, the NFL. So I switched over when the fight started, and I don't know if I've ever seen it. Like I have to retire the word clinic for quite a while, because this was a true clinic. He was doing everything he planned on doing for every single minute of every single round of the fight. It was an absolute clinic. And like you guys were saying, BKM, I don't agree with you on the ref. I don't could stop the fight, because like I was talking to you about it, Serge, he was still fighting back. Like, he was still throwing punches. He was still active. He was just getting beat up really bad. And like you said, don't let the fighter quit, bruh. Throw the towel and kill this. Yeah. He didn't need the last 5 minutes of that fight, no doubt about it.
I think there's a lot of
this. The last time we saw Max Holloway, that fight shattered his own record. And I don't know if you guys remember the fight that he ended up getting that record on. That's when he fought Brian Ortega. And do y'all remember what Brian Ortega's face looked like after that fight? He beat the piss out of Brian Ortega, and then his towel threw in the towel in the 4th round. So they stopped it. It was a very similar fight, man. It was like that meme. They got that meme with fucking DiCaprio sitting there drinking a beer, pointing and shit.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? The one he's pointing when he's in what's it called? It was like Brian Ortega had to be sitting there pointing like, yo, I remember that ass whooping. That's exactly what happened. Your corner has to save you in that scenario. You know what I'm saying? Damn this tough guy. Your guy is tough. We know he is. He took 1,000 shots to the dome. He's tough as shit. Now let's save his ass, because at the end of the day, Brian Ortega had to take 2 years off from that ass whooping. Think about that. We didn't see Brian for 2 full years after that ass whooping.
Yeah.
And for me, it's the prolonged beatings. It's not the big shots. It's not the huge elbows that he landed. It's the prolonged beating over 5 rounds. And while you can make an argument to say, hey, he never left his feet, the ref shouldn't stop it. At the end of the 4th round, where he could barely stay on his feet, that's when the ref has to get in there and do his job. It's the prolonged beatings that you see these guys that die. They leave the ring, they collapse, their brain swells. That's never what we want to see. Now,
Yeah,
a prolonged,
exactly.
you get your ass beat
Yeah.
for 2-3 rounds, that's one thing. But you talk about 5 rounds, shattering records, that's not where you want to be.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point.
He
And
landed.
I think I was just
No,
gonna
go
say
ahead,
real
Sean.
quick. I think the ref could even go over to the corner and holler at the doctor, like, "Yo, look, man, like, I don't want to, like, I know I don't need to stop it in the middle of the round, but maybe I don't even know if a doctor looked at him. He was getting beat up, and I don't remember a doctor coming
Getting
over
dominated.
and taking a peek on him at all. So yeah, I agree with
Look,
you, B-Cam.
I wanted to pull up this stat. Max Holloway landed with this ungodly ass number that he landed. Max Holloway ended up landing 3 strikes, like 3 strikes per like couple seconds. It's something ridiculous. It's on my Twitter right now, but check it out. Moving right along, man, because I can't even. That was an amazing performance. But like I said, there's been a lot of great fights. This upcoming weekend, I mean, shit, there was a great fight card today. This weekend is another one, man. And there's a lot of promo on Conor, deservingly so. All right, and I'll start off with saying that shit. Conor gets the bulk of the promotion because he is the most popular MMA fighter in history. And he is elite in what he does. And I'll give him all the credit in the world for that. I have my own beef with him. I'm probably going to shit on him in a minute. But at the end of the day, he's elite. And I understand why he's getting the bulk of the promotion. But gentlemen, I have to ask you guys this. And B, I want to start with you. Is it just me? Or is Dustin Poirier kind of being overlooked in this?
I mean, that's what you get when you have an A-side like Conor McGregor. When you have a guy like Conor McGregor who's done his job in terms of captivating millions and millions of people and pulling them in with his heel act and, and then being able to back that up with first round, second round, third round knockouts, that good looking knockouts where he's dominated the entire fight. When you do that over the course of so many years, you're going to get a bunch of casual fans that start to follow you. And a guy like Dustin Poirier, who doesn't have as big of a name, he's fighting Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor's the A side. We're just automatically going to side with Conor McGregor. Now, to your point, hey, you're a bit of a hardcore fan. But when you drop off a couple levels and you have the casual fans, even myself, I'll probably pick Conor McGregor because Dustin Poirier hasn't done anything that I've seen with my own eyes that tells me that he's going to be able to beat a new and improved and focused Conor McGregor that isn't just, sitting there showing up to fights drunk.
True. I always think it's funny that everybody says Conor did not show up to them fucking fights drunk. Don't let that nigga gas y'all niggas up. Conor McGregor trained his ass off of them damn fights. He did all that shit. Yeah. Motherfuckers be trying to say that nigga afterwards. Them ass whoopings he took, he earned. Okay, he earned them ass whoopings. So, but the peoples who he whooped, he earned those too. You know what I'm saying? Oh, real quick, I found that stat. Max Holloway averaged 1 significant strike landed every 3.4 seconds for 25 minutes.
It's insane. It's insane.
I'm gonna say that one more time. That sounds 1 strike every 3.4 seconds for 25 minutes. That's an ass whooping, and that's a gas tank. He's the first person I've ever seen who's able to really weaponize pace. He weaponizes pace more than anybody I've ever seen. It's crazy.
And you need the boxing ability that he has, and like you said, the gas tank. He could have won another couple. He could have won 4 minutes.
He looked like a 10-round fighter.
Yeah, he looked fresh.
She was nuts.
No doubt.
You see that on the boxing side with guys like Lomachenko. They just get to that next level, just take the pace up. Even against a guy like Teofimo, which he lost that fight, when he took the pace up, Teofimo could not keep up. So being able to have that extra gear, it's a different level, and he showed that.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, man, it's those numbers are nuts, man. But let me ask you guys this: are you guys actually surprised? And again, I think you guys make great points with him, the promotion. Do you guys think at all Conor's overlooking Dustin?
No,
but I think he tries to make you think that he is. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he did say, and I'm going to say this. He did quote. He said, "Yo, do you think Conor's actually believed? So y'all don't think Conor believes he's actually going to KO him in 60 seconds, or do y'all think he's actually going to go beat? Do you think he's going to KO him in 60 seconds?"
No, but when has Conor McGregor ever showed all that much respect for his opposition? When has he ever made it seem like, wow, this guy's tough, he's going to take me 5 rounds? He always thinks that, hey, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to knock this guy out. And for the large part of his career, he was able to do that up until KHABIB. and Mayweather, which was a whole different sport. But outside of that, he's been delivering. So I don't think he's overlooked. And Nate Diaz, but like outside of those two guys, this has been who Conor McGregor is, even in the first fight. So why would you think the second fight's going to be any different? And there's a mental advantage over somebody that you knock out. Fuck that. Like you know that. Absolutely. You come in there, you're like, I've done this before. You can have a situation, but where the other guy maybe wants it a little bit more. But once you have that mental advantage, maybe he'll have a few moments, but you have his number. You have his number, and it's going to be difficult.
So you really believe that? So even saying somebody whom, and this is really funny, and I want to actually bring this up because everyone's talking, oh, this, you know, you have his number, and I don't subscribe to that at all. I really don't, because there's been plenty of fights where somebody gets knocked out, comes back and beats that guy's ass. There's so many fights.
Where? What fights?
Anthony Joshua and fucking and Andy Ruiz in the boxing in. How I can just start there.
That's a bad one.
So
Andy Ruiz partied for about 8 months straight. Came
back and got him. But okay, I got another. Hassan Rahman, Lennox Lewis.
So here's the thing. I think these are.
Y'all asked for examples. I'm giving y'all examples.
I did ask for examples, and I think you're giving good examples specifically in the sport that I watch. So I mean, I think you're giving great examples. However, both of those instances, it wasn't like a 50-50 fight going in. That was an A side who kind of slacked off a little bit, got caught slipping, and then they came back and did what they should have done the first time. I don't necessarily know if this is that type of scenario. Was Dustin Poirier ever the A side? Like it wasn't
Manny Pacquiao and Mexican dude who knocked him the fuck out.
Manny Pacquiao never fought him again.
No, he didn't.
All right,
and he never knocked him out prior to that.
Real quick, I got to take a quick pause, real quick, guys, because we're gonna keep this party going, and I had to bring on our next guest also to continue with this one, man. Coming on the show, joining us right now is our boy Mystic from Mystic Black Brother. What it do? Welcome to the show.
Poppin'? Fight podcast was good, guys. I apologize. My computer has the worst problems, but whatever. We're not going to talk about that. More important things to talk about.
Absolutely. It's all to the good, man. Welcome to the show, man. How you living?
Living good, living great. What's up, fellas?
We're chilling. Look, I'm over here.
I think you bring it, Serge. You got to bring it right into the conversation. Does a guy like Conor McGregor carry?
Wait, before I let him talk, I have to preface anything he says about Conor McGregor with this: don't believe anything he says about Conor McGregor. This dude is the biggest McGregor fan. We had the biggest argument on his show yesterday about it.
Yeah.
I am
okay. Well,
let's fan of the fight game.
No. All jokes aside, no, I really do actually. You know, I want to get your opinion on this. B, please continue with your question because I love where you're going with this one.
Does a fighter like Conor McGregor, and even if you want to take it away from a fight, does a fighter that has scored a knockout over an opponent carry a mental advantage going into that second fight? Now, Sergio made some good references over guys like Anthony Joshua and Lennox Lewis, who got knocked out by Hakeem Rockman. No, not Hakeem Rockman. Was it Hakeem Rockman?
It was.
It was Rockman.
Was it Hakeem Rockman? Okay. So, yeah, a guy like Lennox Lewis who got knocked out by Hakeem Rockman. My rebuttal to that were these were A-sides who essentially got caught slipping in the first fight and were able to come back the second fight and do what they were able to do. That's not necessarily the same situation with Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. So do you think a guy like Conor McGregor goes to that second fight with a mental advantage?
Yes, I do, because that's
more Poirier at a mental disadvantage.
Yeah, Poirier is definitely going to have that in his mind. Damn, this guy knocked me out. I know how his power feels, and I know what it did to me last time. There's no way that's not in his mind. For Conor McGregor, this is a different fight. It's at a different weight class. Dustin Poirier is bigger now. He's better. He's definitely improved on his defensive skills. But at the same time, Conor McGregor just knows that he has some kind of a mental advantage of him because he knocked him out before. No matter what, that's going to be there on either side. And just like you just said, Conor McGregor was the A side at that time. He's the A side this time as well. So absolutely. I don't think it's going to make too big of a difference.
Now, I will say this, and I want to bring up these numbers because I thought this was something that was really interesting, okay? So, since their first fight, okay, Conor McGregor is 6-2, 8 main events, 5 finishes, and 2 titles. Dustin Poirier in that exact that exact same time span, he is 10-2-1, 7 main events, 6 finishes, and a title. So we're looking at somebody who has ended up getting more fights, has, has had a portion of the belt, so he knows what it is to be a champion. He's also never fought in the same weight class since that fight. And again, so those are a couple of things I'm looking at. Like, I think yes, it might be in his head, but do you think all those other things will be like, you know what? That shit was 6, almost 7 years ago. I don't give a fuck. I'm a new man. I have way more experience than him now. I am way more hardened than he is at this point in time. I'm more battle tested. And I know at that point in time in my career, I did not know how to survive if I was hurt. I have been through the trenches. I have fought the best of the best, and I have found ways to win. And guys, don't forget, Dustin whooped Max's ass.
He did. He definitely did. But I understand it's a long time ago, 6, 7 years ago. I'm battle tested. But at the same time, he's taken a lot of damage in those fights. Yes. Even when he fought Max Holloway, he was getting hit pretty hard. When he fought,
don't get it twisted. I had Max, but
that's a that decision could have went either way. But he was lighting Dustin Poirier up. Poirier's been knocked out by Michael Johnson. He's been rocked bad by a knee from Eddie Alvarez. We forget that sometimes, even though he won that fight, you're still taking a lot of that damage. How much damage has Conor McGregor taken over the year? When he was getting sometimes hit by Nate Diaz, who doesn't really hit that hard. Or for being honest about it, it's just a lot of jabs that add up. Not to saying it didn't do damage, but it's not getting completely knocked out. That's the scary part.
But he was getting. It's an interesting thing that we talk about him with Nate Diaz. And gentlemen, I want you guys to chime in too. We talk about him with Nate. He got busted up and rocked by a guy who can't hit hard. So now we're going in there against somebody whom, we're talking about somebody, and I'm talking about Dustin Poirier, Khabib Nurmagomedov, who's fought everybody we're about to talk about, right? Khabib said the person who's hit him the hardest that he's ever been hit in his career was Justin Gaethje. Dustin Poirier knocked out Justin Gaethje in a brawl. Do you think now that he's at 55, he's bigger, he's thicker, do you think he might be able to absorb those shots that much better, or just kind of have this fucking lightning bolt? Sean, what's up?
Yeah, let me ask y'all this, because to answer your question real quick, Conor definitely got that lightning bolt in the left. There ain't no question about that, and he showed us on multiple occasions that he definitely has that lightning bolt. I think even to go back and answer your question before Mystic hopped on is he taking Poirier seriously by saying, hey, I'm going to knock this dude out in 60 seconds, whatever it is, right? I think there's a difference between – I think he could take someone seriously and then say shit like that. I still think he's taking him seriously as a fighter, going about his business and doing what he's supposed to do. I think you guys are – because I don't know this, so I'm going to ask you guys. I'm going to ask Mystic. I'm going to ask Serge. I'm going to ask BKM. I'm going to ask you guys this. I think we're looking at the wrong things about different fights. When you hear Poirier talk and how he's talking about the fight and how his team is talking and how does he look? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Does he feel like? Does he seem like a different fighter? Yeah, real quick. Hold on. Let me finish. Like, does he feel like? Does he seem like a different fighter? Does he seem more mature? Like, because if you're talking about a fight from 7 years ago that he got knocked out, I mean, like, who knows? Like, if he's gonna think about that when he gets in. You know what I'm saying? It's how is he carrying himself? How do his training sessions look? How does everything else look? You know what I'm saying? That's what I kind of look at. Whatever sport it is, like, yo. Is this guy mentally all locked in, or because it's tough to like, oh, he took more damage than Conor, and so he's going to get in there and be worried more about, you know what I mean? It's how does he look mentally right now? How is he talking?
You know what, D, I'll let you go ahead and take that one first, bro. What do you think?
Mystic, do you feel what I'm saying on that?
Yeah, I get what you're saying for sure. I think before I answer that question, I just want to make one claim real quick. And this is not a fanboy thing or whatever you want to say. When Conor got rocked by Nate, this was a big thing of he blew his load there. And you've seen plenty of fighters do this. Plenty of fighters do this. They blow their load in the first round, and you can hit them with a jab, and they're going to get rocked no matter what it is.
Real. That's
real.
That's
That's a very real thing. So I don't really think necessarily it was like, damn, Nate Diaz hit so hard. I don't think it was that. But to answer your question, Sean, I think that Poirier definitely is more mature than he was back in those days. If you saw him when he first fought Conor McGregor, he was swearing. He was saying, God, I hate that guy so much. And he was throwing middle fingers at him, doing the gun symbol and all these different things. And now Poirier, if you see him in his fights, it's rarely that he has any beef with anybody. He's a father now. He has a very different mindset of how he approaches the game, making way more money and trying to be smarter in his fights just so he doesn't take as much damage. But sometimes it still happens because this lightweight division is a crazy, crazy and most difficult weight class, I feel, in mixed martial arts in the UFC.
Yeah.
I think also the lack of Conor's antics actually helped Poirier, because he was affected by that throughout the first fight, and the fact that those haven't been there, that's going to be to his advantage.
I was actually, and Brandon, I'm glad you actually said that, because that's kind of where I was going with that. It's interesting because if you don't get, the only times I've ever really seen Dustin lose is when you get in his head. Michael Johnson talked hellish shit to him. He got starched. He talked hellish shit to Conor. He got starched. He gets in his head. He gets overly emotional. But if you let him go out here and just be like, hey, I'm gonna give money to your foundation after the fight. You're a good dude. I think you're great, but I'm gonna knock you out in 60 seconds. I think to Dustin, that's kind of like, yo, at the end of the day, that's just regular fight talk. You know what I'm saying? And I think if you let him go out there with regular fight talk, I think he goes out there and just cooks.
So I have a question. So do you think this is a Dustin Poirier who just happy to be there, kind of like when he fought when Donald Cerrone fought Conor McGregor?
I don't
think so.
I don't think so. And the reason, and again, I want your guys' opinions on this also from what you guys have seen. But I don't, because we're also talking about somebody who's had a portion of the belt. He's had a portion of the belt, and he thoroughly believes he's the best in the world. The guy that all of us thought was the guy upcoming and the number one contender was Dan Hooker. He beat his ass. You know what I'm saying? And this is after the KHABIB fight. He comes out there, takes the toughest guy out there and wins. You don't go out there after losing the title, take the most dangerous guy coming up. You don't do that. Dustin did that. And then right after that, he says, yes, sign me the fuck up for Conor. Let's do this shit. I need to get that back. That's a guy who wants to be there.
Now,
Go ahead,
you think
go ahead, bro.
Dustin Poirier has waited all this time since he was first knocked out by Conor. He probably prepared himself for the type of mental warfare that we're used to seeing from Conor McGregor. I think he could be in his head from another angle. He gets there and he's like, "Why is he acting like this? This is not what I prepared for.
Yeah.
What's he doing? What's going on?"
Like, but you know what though? But Conor. Well, let me ask you. But you know what? Conor hasn't been that for a while. Remember, he was very complimentary of Cowboy as well. I think he's kind of been coming into fights. He's kind of been this complimentary character ever since he got fucked. Ever since KHABIB beat his ass, he gave him a slice of that humble tiramisu. My man's is like real chill after that. He's been real like, hey guys, I'm gonna win, but you know this guy's great. It's been a different Conor since he got his ass
whooped. Real quick, I think part of that is when you're supremely confident that you're about to fold a guy up and you know he's not in your league, really, you don't really come in there talking real crazy. Like, he knew he was going to fold Cowboy up. He wasn't worried about Cowboy. Like, I think when he's fighting guys like,
Absolutely.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, I think the KHABIB thing was very personal, but I think he's not really worried about these guys. So he's like, I'm not about to be out here talking crazy. Like, I'm just going to show up, do my thing, and try to get this belt back.
I hear you guys. I think he might be at a point in his career now where he's kind of like, I mean, I'm rich as fuck.
Gonna say that. Like I make a reference to Pretty Boy Floyd and then Money Mayweather, two different guys. Like, you don't really have to talk as much anymore because you made plenty of money. You're going to be making more money. So there's no point for you to promote this because you just being on the card is enough promotion. They see Conor McGregor on a card in a commercial. Everybody's watching. That's an automatic million pay-per-view buys for sure. So he doesn't have a reason to do that. Even if it's somebody like he doesn't like. I think the only person who'll ever talk that much shit is Khabib, because that's a genuine, like, they have a lot of problems. They can't be in the same place at the same time kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys this,
because
he was talking, but it was different. It was a
more complimentary type
of shit.
Floyd was talking every fight he ever had, from what I remember. But I
think
I'm
just not as crazy, like, compared to when he was a Pretty Boy. That's what I mean. Like, there's a difference.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys this, because with this fight, and I pulled the numbers up a little bit and talking about like how many fights one guy's had in comparison to the other guy, right? What do you guys subscribe to more? Seriously, what do you think? Is it more ring rust or is it an activity thing? Like, do you think it's like this guy is more fresh, he's good, or it's just like, no, man, this guy's been beat up too much? What is it? Where are we at? Because it's really polarizing when we think about both guys.
And for me, that's a question for you, because if I have to pick between two fighters, you have ring rust on one side, you have activity on the other side. I'm going to lean towards the side of activity. I don't subscribe like a fighter that's been out of the ring for such a long time. I still have to know what he has. And that's one question I have for you. What is Conor McGregor in January of 2021? We haven't seen Conor McGregor fight at the top level in MMA in a very long time. So, yeah, he beat Cowboy, but he was supposed to be Cowboy. He's much more talented. He's much more youthful than a Cowboy Cerrone. Where is he now?
Cowboy's knocked out, what, 3 times in a row leading into that fight? He was finished 3 times in a row leading into that.
This is a different level. What is he still? Is he still Conor McGregor, or is there a bit of a drop-off that's taking place? Because if he is still Conor McGregor, we're probably going to favor him for a win. But if that drop-off is taking place due to inactivity, that's why I always lean towards activity. I don't really like long periods of inactivity. It's just not for me.
No, man. What do you think, bro?
I think that before Conor fought Cerrone, he had been on a big hiatus before that as well. He was a guy who's still fighting 1 or 2 times per year. So this is not a guy who's always super active compared to when he first started fighting. Like when he was in the featherweight division, he was fighting every 3 months. Stay ready, so you don't have to get ready. Every time he was fighting. When he went in a ring with Cerrone, no matter how overmatched he was against Cerrone, he looked very fluid still. He still had that muscle memory. Cerrone tried to take him down off the bat, and he was hitting him with shoulders that you've never seen before. His head kick that he hit him with. A lot of things he was doing, he still looked crisp. Nothing looked rusty. There's like a couple guys who in MMA or in boxing that no matter what, they can take 2 years off. They get in there, and it's like they never left. Like it's like they were there the day before.
What I'll say to that is this. I think Conor McGregor is one of the greatest 7-minute fighter I've ever seen. I don't care what he does. He can take off for 5 years, come back. He is going to be crispy to start off a fight. That is who he is. That is what he does. He's going to attack, and he's going to be fluid. That's just what Conor brings. My question with the ring rust factor is this. Ring rust and feel show themselves the longer the fight goes on. If you can't get that guy out of there with your first, second, or third thing, and he is still there looking at you in the face, what happens then? That's when cardio starts hitting, because what ends up happening is if you can't get him out of there, your cardio starts going. Your cardio starts going, you start fucking panicking. And if you start fucking panicking, Dustin Poirier knocks your head off your fucking shoulders.
I have a question about that. Because the people that have made Conor use his gas tank the most are a lot of pressure fighters, like Nate Diaz,
Absolutely.
Pressure kind of guy. KHABIB, pressure kind of guy. Dustin is not too big of a pressure kind of guy. You think that's going to be better?
He's a give and take guy.
He's a give and take, just like Eddie Alvarez was. And Conor went to the second round. He didn't look tired at all because he wasn't getting pressured. You think that's going to be a big part of Dustin Poirier's game plan?
I think it has. You guys asking me? Do you guys have any? You guys, if you guys, here's the thing.
That's for everybody.
Yo, fam. This. I want y'all to know this is barbershop. This is barbershop talk. I'm just fucking facilitating. All right, just
sure.
whoever want to go.
Hey, I'll say this, Mystic. Before we hopped on, we were talking about I'm the casual guy, and I try to bring like different questions, different angles.
Yeah.
For you to say, because I've watched all Conor's last, I don't know, whatever, 5, probably 6 fights in a row, right? I've seen them all. Mm-hmm. So, like you said, the guys that put like Conor's biggest problem and flaw, we all know is his stamina's ass. Like we know that, right? If you can push him deep in fights, that motherfucker's gonna get tired, and then he's gonna have a big issue on his hands. So now that I see, I don't know too much about Dustin Poirier. If he's give and take and he's not giving pressure, that sounds like he's gonna let Conor dictate the fight, and that is Conor's fucking dreamland. If he's going to be able to dictate what he wants to do throughout the fight, especially from the start, Dustin is going to be in trouble, bro.
Well, I put it like this, and I'll say this about Dustin, since for those who don't know, and I understand a lot of people don't really know Dustin Poirier. I get that. You know, he is, I always call Max Holloway every fighter's favorite fighter. Dustin Poirier is every fighter's second favorite fighter. He's that kind of guy.
Love him.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you will never hear a fight fan or a real fighter say anything negative about Dustin Poirier. He's that fucking dope, right? He's a dog, and the definition of it. He's one of those dudes that'll go. He comes from the dirt, and he fights like it too. So when I say give and take, he's an intelligent boxer, but he's willing to give he's willing to take two to give one if it needs to be that. He's one of those guys.
Is that a good idea?
And here's the thing, and I'm going to say that
that's the question.
I'm going to reiterate. Dustin, we're looking at it. Khabib Nurmagomedov said Justin Gaethje hits harder than anybody that he's ever faced. Like nobody hits close to Justin Gaethje. Everybody who faces Justin Gaethje says the exact same thing. We're talking about a dude who got into a brawl with Justin Gaethje and came out the other side. So we have to also, again, we're talking about that 7 years ago, whatever it was. But we also have to think about this. He never fought again at 145 pounds for a reason. He was too big for the weight class. You know what I'm saying? And he used to suck himself dry down so much. He hasn't been chinny since then. And the fact that he's fought, and there's another thing too that we're talking about in terms of activity. He's fought the best of the best. Like everybody he's fought, if we go, dude, he knocked out Eddie Alvarez twice. His last 5 fights are nuts. Eddie Alvarez twice, fucking Khabib, Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje. And he beat all of them but fucking Khabib. You have to take that into account. It's just not the same dude we saw get starched 7 years ago. Now, with that being said, Conor McGregor is the best 7-minute fighter I've ever fucking seen.
But that's what I'm saying.
And he's accurate as fuck.
Right, and he gets in there. If he starts dictating early, then I think it's trouble. Go ahead.
I want to add something. I mean, Dustin Poirier, you mentioned that he's not typically a pressure fighter. He's a give and take type of fighter. If you're not, no one, unless your name is Canelo Alvarez, just turns into a pressure monster overnight. If you're going to change your game plan and decide that this is the fight that you want to try out being a pressure fighter, you're doing that against a very powerful counterpuncher who's knocked you out before. So the whole take two to give one, that's not necessarily the best game plan if you have in the back of your mind that this man can and will knock me out.
Well, let me ask you guys this. What happens, and the only reason I'm bringing a lot of times Dustin's point of view, because it's very easy to just ride Conor and talk all the great shit about Conor. So I want to give some people other shit to think about, okay? We're talking about, again, somebody in terms of Conor who, again, he is great. He is amazing. What happens if Conor hits Dustin with his best shot and Dustin is still there?
Let me counter it and say, look, Mystic, I'll give this to you. Have we seen anyone catch Conor's best shot and not fold up outside of Khabib?
Nate
Diaz. Khabib didn't take that.
Nate Diaz went down like 3 times, but he could take all the shots for sure. Nate Diaz, if anybody.
But we're still talking about getting knocked down. But we're still talking about getting knocked down, though.
But even after that fight, Nate was
and you know what I'm saying? He's probably if Poirier gets knocked down twice in 2 rounds, he's probably gonna lose the fight. You feel what I'm saying?
It's hard with this to talk. I know Poirier is an amazing fighter, but everything is gonna come down to what Conor does and how he just goes into what game plan it's going to be. Like, honestly,
Absolutely.
That's what they have to wait for, because you've seen a lot of things that he's done, but at the same time, I know that left hand, it's just very hard to evade because he's just very accurate with it. I don't think the only fight he probably didn't catch anybody clean, maybe Khabib. I don't think he caught Khabib clean, not once, because he was afraid of the takedown. Every single time he's afraid of the takedown, he couldn't hit him. He was so focused on defense that he could not hit him clean. So that's the thing. If you turn Conor McGregor into a defensive fighter, that's what it's going to be a whole different kind of a ball player. And that's what Dustin Poirier has to do. And he can't wait. Just like Serg said, he's a 7-minute fighter. You can't wait for those 7 minutes, because in those 7 minutes, it could be a wrap.
It could be a wrap.
It could be a wrap. That, like Cam said, motherfuckers don't turn into pressure fighters overnight. You know
here's the thing. We're looking at it like all of a sudden that wouldn't be Dustin's game plan. You know what I'm saying? We're assuming that his game plan wouldn't be that, because I thoroughly believe Dustin Poirier feels like, I'm going to do what I'm good at. I'm sure they have some setups. I'm sure there's certain things they're going to work on, but Dustin Poirier is going to go out there doing what Dustin Poirier does. I'm going to see what this dude does. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to try to establish my jab, and I'm going to get into a fight. And that's what Dustin does. So I don't think he's going to go out there saying, I have to go out there. He's not. We're talking about a guy who is a champion. You're talking about him like he's a fucking bum. Like we're talking about a scrub. You're talking about a nigga who's actually I'm talking about literally one of the best dudes in the world. We just talked about how dope his last 5 fights are. So to sit there and say let me finish. To sit there and say somebody at that level, come on, fam. At that level, just because it's a big name on the marquee, all of a sudden he's gonna piss down his fucking leg, fam. Everybody in the sport knows the scariest guy in the sport is Khabib Nurmagomedov. That's the scariest guy in the sport. He don't care.
He might be the scariest motherfucker in the Eastern Hemisphere.
For real.
But you see what I'm saying though? We're talking about a guy who believes he's the champion. So to sit there and say a guy who believes he's the fucking champion and to sit there and just throw these fucking things out here like he's just some fucking rookie who just feels like he like lucked up and worked. He didn't luck up to get here, guys.
Yeah, no, sorry.
He earned this spot.
No, I'm not saying that he didn't earn it, and I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that everything that we're saying and everything that Mystic is saying and everything that you're laying out, I feel like it leans into Conor's favor. That's all I'm saying.
Can we talk about Conor defensively? In recent years, outside of Khabib Nurmagomedov, I mean, I don't, and I didn't watch early Conor like some of you guys did, but he doesn't get hit a ton. He knows how to keep his distance. His head movement is all right, but he's a master of distance. And I think that's where he's skillful at because he knows how to get in for those counter shots and get right back out. And he's going to manage his distance all day long.
Manages range beautifully.
How do you think that plays into the fight?
If I was Dustin, I'd watch that Nate Diaz fight so damn much because he did a lot of things, especially with distance. He uses distance better than Conor did. He did in both of those fights, in the first and the second. And the second one, you could even say Nate Diaz won that fight too. Depending on
I had him winning. As many times I've watched that fight, every time Nate wins that fight.
Honestly, you can watch the second fight. You can give it to Nate as well. So I think Dustin to watch that fight 100%. Distance is going to be very important on how he uses it.
He has to be able to. He's going to have to be able to, and he's going to have to do a couple different things with Conor. And Dustin does a couple of these things well. Dustin throws a great low leg kick. Conor McGregor is very susceptible to getting kicked in the leg. People don't. The thing I didn't think about that. People don't utilize that at all. Dustin throws a hell of a fucking leg kick. If he starts landing a couple kicks on his leg, and again, because of Conor's style and the way that he's heavy on his front leg, he leans a lot forward. If he starts getting that front leg taken out, that's going to take away a lot of his power. And it only takes one, maybe two good one of those kicks for that to really start to come to fruition. So defensively, I think Conor is going to have to really deal with that. If he,
From a casual, I've never ever seen I don't even know the names. I don't care who I'm watching. Anybody that I've seen get their front leg kick, their front leg up, is in shambles. The rest of the fight, they're in trouble. Like
unless you're Khabib.
Man.
Okay, right. Yeah. But like we're not talking about him. It's like yo, when I talk about the NFL and we're talking about quarterbacks on my show, like Mahomes is not part of like what I'm even saying. Like he's like a different guy. It's like Mahomes is Khabib. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just different level guys, right? But like from a casual guy, I always am looking like, yo, why isn't everyone beating the fuck up out of everybody's front leg? So it makes them tentative. They can't get power behind their shots. But like, you know what I'm saying? But like, I was just kind of to compliment what you were saying. Like, yo, if you could get that front leg beat up a little bit, like what Adesanya did to the big boy. Yo, the big boy was so neutralized. I watched that for whatever. Like after the first round, I'm like, yo, this dude is in trouble. He's scared to come forward because his leg is in shambles right now. He can't get any power behind his shit, and he hates this guy's guts. So he's gonna try to tough through it and fight. I'm like, yo, this dude's in trouble. Period. Point blank. So yeah, from like a casual, it's like, man, that's a good point. If that front could get worn out, then it's ugly.
Well, Sergio, let me take a stab and tell me if I'm right or wrong here. You wouldn't kick out somebody's front leg because you're scared to. It puts you out of position. It puts you off balance. And for a counter puncher like Conor McGregor, you're going to give him opportunities to get in and out because you will be off. You'll be off balance. And if you miss that, kick to the leg,
Oh, okay. So you're saying if you miss it. So you're saying would you chance throwing it? Okay. So here's the thing. Finish your question, but I think I know where you're going with that one.
Well, that was just me taking a stab at it. I would imagine someone
No,
doesn't go to the leg for similar reasons. Someone doesn't go to the body in boxing. You don't go to the body. Go ahead.
It's too far. It's the distance. It's the distance thing.
It's timing.
It's because in boxing, if you're going to the body, we're right here. It's close. You're fucking 4 feet away from the dude. You know what I'm saying? Leg to leg, it's so much distance. You know, so I can sit there and throw that out there, and he only has one option. Or he has a couple options. It's either check the kick, move out of the way of the kick, or try to catch the kick and counter. Those are his options, right? But at the end of the day, especially we're talking low. Now, the ones where you're like thinking like he's out of position is if he goes out there and throws big to the body, big to the head. That's when you get turned off of position, and then maybe he can counter. But the guys, when you're throwing to the leg, it's not a big movement. It's literally like throwing a jab. It's just a quack, pop, and you're right there. You know what I'm saying? Right. You're not getting off balance when you throw it.
You know what's really weird too, if you think about it? Not that many guys have gone after Conor and his legs. Like the person we thought that was going to do it was Jose Aldo, and he got knocked out in 13 seconds. Yeah. Everybody else besides that, nobody ever goes after his legs. And you can see, you remember the first strike that Eddie Alvarez threw at Conor was his front leg, and he fell. Not that many people do that. So that'd be another way Poirier too can play this fight out. That's a very smart thing.
And I've seen, and the reason I thought it because I was watching his fight with Justin Gaethje, and Justin Gaethje is known for his leg kick. Justin Gaethje probably has the hardest. KHABIB said he has the hardest leg kick he ever felt. Also, he hits. This motherfucker's a mule. I don't know what the fuck Justin Gaethje's made out of.
Every time he goes,
human. Right. So we're talking about a dude in Gaethje. Like I said, he was out leg kicking Justin Gaethje, who's a leg kicker. So he's not afraid to go there. You know, and if you're a boxer, if you're tight here, it's one of those things. You can rip that kick and stay tight and stay defensive. So it's an interesting play. I think that's something that I've seen Justin Gaethje implement. Justin Poirier implement in the past. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to see what the fuck would happen.
I'm gonna think about that a lot on Saturday for sure. The leg kicks is gonna be something that's gonna be. Woo! I didn't think about that. Wow.
Them leg kicks, man. I'm telling you, just using my own eyes, I'm like, yo, man, they're very damaging, man. Like if you could get that going, and then you get a guy, he's tentative to step forward because his leg is all welted up. It's like a mental thing and a physical thing.
Yep. No, and I love where you're going with that because that was my thing. Yeah. And here's I could agree with everybody. Conor's one of the best finishers in the game. If he really gets Dustin hurt, he 9 out of 10 he's going to finish his ass. He's one of those guys. Yeah. If he's really hurt, that motherfucker has the straight go for the kill instinct for real. But I'm also going to say this: if he's hurt, you know who else is a fucking hell of a finisher?
Dustin
who goes after you hit? Dustin motherfucking Poirier. Guys, in the same time span, Dustin has more knockouts. We're talking about a guy, and he's very accurate.
What's the reach difference to see what B-Cam was talking about with the distance? What's the difference? What's the reach difference?
Well, the distance between two fighters is one, by your reach, but it's also by that front leg. So I'd be interested to see where they land with their front leg. But in terms of reach, let's see. I have Dustin Poirier at 72 inches, and I have Conor McGregor at 74 inches. So a 2-inch reach advantage for Conor McGregor.
Mm-hmm. And what's the height advantage? Is it a height difference?
Same height, no?
Same height. 5'9" for Conor McGregor, 5'9" for Dustin Poirier.
Yeah. Yep. And here's the thing too. I will say this: neither of them have a size advantage. They're two big fucking lightweights. They're both big as fuck. Like that's one of those things that. Only difference is Conor be, he European, man. He be dressing sexy. He be putting the little shorts and shit on, Dustin ass from Louisiana. That dude wears Carhartt. It's a different look, man.
Conor, but I will say this, when Conor bulks up, he doesn't look uncomfortable. And when he cuts, he looks
carries it well.
Too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he carries it well. His frame, when he looks bulky, He looks
Yeah,
all right.
but no,
look,
they
you
look.
can
They
kinda
both
at
look in
some
incredible
guys,
shape
like,
right now. They both
It was-
look in wild
yeah.
shape right now.
It was weird because when you're watching the camp or pictures from Conor McGregor's camp, I don't know if they do it to confuse you, like it's from earlier days, because he was looking huge. Then he
Oh,
came
he
in
was
on the
looking
boat.
diesel,
Yeah, then he came off the boat.
looking
I was
lean,
like,
looking soft.
lean, and all of a sudden, this body's like the two different people that I'm seeing. So whatever they do, they're definitely doing something right. And something that was said very interesting in an interview today with John Kavanaugh, Conor McGregor's coach. I don't know if he slipped it out on purpose or he was just kidding, but he's like, Conor's going to come out in orthodox stance in this fight. And he said to Ariel Helwani, "Can you cut that out? Is that okay?" But I don't know if he was just kidding with that. But I guess we'll find out on Saturday, right?
Can you cut that
No.
out? Is that all right?
That was a slip, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, it's time. Okay, we've been debating it. We've been talking about it. We've been getting around it, gentlemen. Pick time. The Guru. I got to start with you, my brother. How does this fight go down?
I'm gonna go with McGregor by decision.
Decision.
Hey,
Wow.
Hey,
Mm.
I like that.
Dog,
Okay.
Decision?
Okay.
That's how you, man. Interesting.
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 Because
Is it
yeah,
going to be
that's
like
interesting.
like a close decision? Is it going to be just like a one-sided ass whooping decision? What do you think?
yeah, what do you?
I think it'll be whatever's the equivalent of like an 8-4 in boxing.
Wow.
So like it's clear but competitive.
Competitively clear.
Okay. So yeah, 3 rounds to 2 essentially.
Yeah.
That's just so close. Like that's one
Yeah,
toss
3
up
rounds
round
to 2.
away from being like going the other way. So
Okay.
it's difficult.
I
But
respect
yeah.
that. I can see that. Sean, what you got, man?
I definitely can't see shit going to a decision. That's for motherfucking sure. I don't think Conor's just not trying to do that. I think he's gonna lose before he gets to a decision. That's what I would think. But I want to pick Conor just because I'm not a conspiracy theorist motherfucker either. But for all parties across the board, it works out if Conor can get back to KHABIB somehow and make another super fight for sure. So I'm gonna go Conor. And I think that left hand, I've seen it too many times. I think he seems in shape. He seems locked in. Like Holloway said, you got a shaven head, Conor. So he ready to go. I got Conor in a knockout second round.
Mystic, what's
Second
up?
round. Just like Serge said, 7 minutes. Conor McGregor is the best 7-minute fighter. Too bad he's only going to need 1 minute. As I said yesterday, he's going to finish him in one. That first minute is going to be so detrimental. He's going to be ready to just fire, lock, and load, and Poirier is not going to be able to take the power. I got Conor, first round, KO.
Oh, all right. Everybody go with Conor.
No, you know
I
what? Excuse me, TKO, because Poirier can take the shots a little bit more now, but it's just going to be a little hard. TKO.
TKO. Yeah, okay.
All right, everybody going with Conor. I get it. Well, check it out. This fight, I'm not going to lie to you guys, was the closest to a 50-50 fight that I've had in a long time. All right? Yeah, I'm going to keep it a bean. Conor is the best 7-minute fighter of all time. I've been watching a lot of his fights, and you almost take for granted some of the things that he does. You know, Mystic, you and I discussed it. You know, is he the most underrated, underappreciated fighter of all time, or is he the most overrated and overappreciated fighter of all time? He's a paradox. He's both. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those guys. And when I see this, it's hard not to fucking pick Conor McGregor in this fight. When you see what he does in this weight class, he's extremely fucking skilled, man. Incredibly accurate. He comes at you like a bat out of hell. One of the things about Conor that I think is dope, right, is that if he respects you, he comes at you hard. If he doesn't respect you, he comes at you fucking harder. That's one of the wild things that Conor does. So I'm curious to see how he comes out, right? But with all that being said, dog, Dustin Poirier is gonna break him. Dustin Poirier is gonna take the first round. He's gonna take some shots, and I think he's gonna get staggered. I think it's gonna be a little bit of back and forth. I think we're gonna look at Conor like he might get him out of there, and I think this motherfucker's gonna come back like the Undertaker. And I think, and we've seen him do it. I've seen him do it time and time again. He loves these type of fights. He loves these moments. I think he's going to come back, and I think when Conor gets tired, here's the thing: Conor is in great shape. One thing about Conor is this: we all talk about it. Nigga got no gas tank. Gas tank is terrible. Do you know who gets better as the fight goes? Man, you're right. But here's the thing: think about this. Fucking Dustin Poirier is like Max Holloway in the sense that his stats go up per round. He gets better as the fight goes on. We're gonna get to a point in time in the second round where we're gonna see the shift in that fight happen, and it's gonna be downhill from there. Dustin Poirier is gonna KO, ground and pound, brutally destroy Conor McGregor fourth round.
Fourth round.
I mean, if it gets all the way to the fourth, then I mean, yeah, I agree with that.
I think later fight, Poirier for sure.
Gotta get there.
I think he's gonna drag it out. I think he's gonna drag it out and beat on him.
Yeah, I have a question. Does Dustin Poirier has fought in the proverbial bubble? Conor McGregor has not. He's used to the big crowds. He's used to the crowd roar when he comes out. Will the lack of crowd affect him?
I mean, there is going to be a crowd there. It's not going to be the crowd that we're accustomed to. It's not going to be a Conor McGregor crowd, but it's going to be, what is like 1,000, 2,000 people or something like that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2,000 there. Yeah, so there's going to be 2,000 people there. So he's going to have the roar of the crowd. He'll have that feeling. You know, it won't have the same energy, I'm sure, but a Conor McGregor fight's a Conor McGregor fight. There's a certain energy that comes with it regardless. And I think he's a dog. That motherfucker will go out, he'll fight. Dude, he fights old motherfuckers at bars. I don't think it's going to bother him.
He was dying before the fight. He was talking about he was dying to have that silence of that arena, and unfortunately, he's not going to be able to get it. I don't know if he's lying or not, but a guy like him, no people, it doesn't really matter. He fights. He's in there with that person. He's not super feeding off the crowd until after the fight or before it. See, it's going to be interesting.
I can't wait. I think it's going to be a great fight. The co-main event is another banger. We have, Michael Chandler, arguably the greatest Bellator fighter of all time, fighting against Dan Hooker, who just lost to Dustin Poirier. So again, we have some great fights. It's almost like a little bit of a lightweight tournament now that Khabib is gone. Before we get out of here, a couple things I want to ask you guys. What did y'all think about the Decision 2.0? Dana White's fake Khabib announcement, saying if Khabib is going to come back or not. What were y'all thoughts on that?
Bullshit. They did that to make more people watch the card on UFC on ABC. That's what they did that for. It was promo.
For sure.
Straight ass promo, man.
And we were talking about, Dana White, just how he just gasses stuff up. I'm not gonna lie. When we first started talking about Fight Island as being a thing, he had me hook, line, and sinker. Like, these motherfuckers were about to be on the beach. They were gonna be fighting with a ring on the boat, like waves. Like, you feel me? Like, waves was gonna be crashing in the background. I'm like, yo, this is gonna be crazy. And they cut to the shit. I'm like, nigga, this shit is in a gym in Montreal. Y'all capping with shit.
Yeah. Wild capping.
But Sergio was so mad.
I was hot.
Yo, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do to get the promo.
Yeah, y'all this nigga had me making memes.
Dog, I'm telling you, like, the way they were gassing Fight Island, I'm like, I'm like, damn, it's gonna be really hot out there. How are they about to do this? But I'm gonna make sure I tune in and check it out.
Y'all should check out old Bodog fights if you want to see old.
That's right.
Old Jorge Masvidal fights. We're actually on the fucking beach. Chael Sonnen, Din Tom. There was some bad motherfuckers out there. And it was literally on the fucking beach. Check that shit. That was Bodog fights. That shit was crazy.
Was it in Puerto Rico? Was it at Puerto Rico?
Yeah. He had some in Puerto Rico. I didn't know they were in Puerto Rico. And then they had one in Vegas too. But the thing that got fucked up was the owner of the fucking company is like wanted and shit. Yeah. This motherfucker's like he can't come into the country. It's like, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
I feel like
fucking fight promoters, man. Fight promoters.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
I was gonna say my fault. Bulldog was that offshore. They're in offshore sports. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit don't rock. They're not paying their taxes, so they on the run.
Facts. All right, let me ask you guys this, man. I'm sorry, Mr. What were you about to say, bro?
Oh, real quick. Khabib said today once again. He said, "I don't see myself fighting. They got to stop doing this. You're disrespecting my moms. Like, stop. I want to fight." Just make it a title fight. I don't see any problem making that a title fight or just saying that Khabib has relinquished a title. This is going to make these guys want to fight even more because they'll know they're on that fast train for the title. But I don't know. Dana White is a wild man. He does whatever he wants at the end of the day. Yeah. But we'll see what happens. In his words, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's kind of one of those things where he knew he had some time he's going to get all the juice he needs with Conor coming back the first round. So then he'll make the title fight the next one. So it's almost like, even if say Conor takes an L, then I can at least make the next fight a title fight.
Well, let me ask you guys this. We're talking about Conor. We're talking about Conor. Win or lose, Conor McGregor said this. And I want to ask, I don't know if we're finished with this one, but this might be our last fight topic real quick. Conor McGregor said he was going to fight Manny Pacquiao. And when they do fight, it'll be for the WBO belt, be for Manny's belt. Sure. Manny Pacquiao reiterated that statement. Gentlemen, we forget they're managed by the same guy. That is a fight do you guys think that this fight's actually going to happen? Because I'm going to be honest with y'all. I think win or lose, especially if he loses, we going to see Conor McGregor versus Manny Pacquiao.
Not for the belt, though.
They said it's for the belt.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're going to have to strip Manny Pacquiao. They can't allow that to happen, or we just have to stop acknowledging the WBO as legitimate governing body. They can't allow Conor. They can't allow Conor McGregor to just come over to boxing and just fight Manny Pacquiao for his legitimate title with other dogs in the fucking division. Like, no, that's not something they may be able to fight. And I think that's a fight that Manny Pacquiao is interested in. I've also heard Ryan Garcia's name tossed around. Ryan Garcia does want to fight Manny Pacquiao if that's something that he can make. But a fight for the WBO title, that's disrespectful to the sport of boxing. And it's probably the push that people would need to stop acknowledging the WBO as an organization. They cannot sanction that bout. And I mean, the WBO already they call it the WB no. They already have problems being acknowledged as one of the top 4 governing bodies.
Fuck y'all as a label, a record crew, your whole set.
I think that Pacquiao wants the money, fight Conor McGregor, great, but drop the belt.
I hear you. Now, let me ask you guys this.
Pacquiao's getting a lot of money. Does he need the money?
Yes, he does. He does. He's had some taxes in the recent years. I don't know how.
They all want the money, bro.
You're right. At the end of the day.
B, you talked about Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia just came out, said big fight announcement coming up. What's it gonna be?
He said it's not Tank.
It's not Tank. Then who? If it ain't Tank, then who?
He said it's bigger than Tank, and he's a fighter. That's probably Cap. The only thing that's bigger than Tank that's in his stratosphere would be a Manny Pacquiao fight, maybe at 140, but which is a dream fight for him. He said his most impactful. No, he's not fighting Teofimo. That's not happening. Teofimo is looking at Haney.
Why did he fight Haney?
Cambosis.
It looks like Teofimo might get Haney. Haney is who he should fight. Yeah, he don't want that smoke right now.
The WBC mandatory. They're under the same promotional banner. Should be a very easy fight to make. But after the fight, he goes and calls out Tank and says, "Hey, you go fight Teofimo, and then he'll fight the winner of that for the undisputed championship. Whatever. Maybe it could be a Haney fight, but at the end of the day, Ryan Garcia is probably capping. It'd probably be fucking Linares.
Is Manny a bigger fight than Gervonta?
Draw wise, it's the biggest.
Draw wise, yes. He brings the entire Philippines.
In terms of skill level, like you expect Ryan Garcia to lose. But
we lost Cam. We lost him.
We can't hear. All of a sudden, your sound went off, my brother.
Hey, I'll tell you this, Ryan Garcia, because if this is the same clip that Cam was talking about, I saw Ryan Garcia. He was on Jalen and Jacoby, and on ESPN, and he was talking about. Yeah, he's like, yo, I got a big announcement. It's not even he's like, I'm going to knock out Gervonta. I got a bigger fight, blah, 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 blah. It's interesting, man. My man is confident. He looked good in his last fight. I won't lie. And he bounced back after getting knocked down for his first time. For a young dude, that was impressive. But I'd much rather see him fight Tank than fight Pacquiao, but maybe I'm the minority there.
I'll say this. You say you rather see him. I might rather see him fight Tank than Pacquiao at this point in time. I think that's a more culturally relevant fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the fight that we deserve. But what B was just saying that it is supposed to be Haney. That's who he's supposed to be fighting next. Why are they maneuvering around that? Well, maybe it's just a bad matchup. He did lose to him 4 times in the amateurs. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not just like one knockout 7 years ago. That was like 3 years ago. This dude whooped my ass 4 out of 5 times. You know what I mean? So who knows? Who knows, man? It might be one of those things. We'll see what ends up happening. All right, real quick. I do want to get to this before we get out of here. Are there any gentlemen? I want to ask you guys this. Do you guys have any fantasy fights for 2021? Fantasy fights. What are the fights that you just crave to fucking see? Whoever want to go.
Take it away, Mist.
Boxing or MMA, or it doesn't matter. Just fight.
Well, I'll fight. Just fisticuffs.
I really want to see John Jones against any heavyweight. I want to see how he looks at this weight class. Finally, it's been years. I was tired of watching him at 205 fight these guys. He wasn't even motivated to fight. Now he's got to fight the big boys. So John Jones versus any heavyweight, I'm in.
I love that. B, I was just asking, what is your fantasy fight at the end of the year for 2021? What is the fight that you want to see? Doesn't matter, boxing, MMA, both. I don't care. Whatever you want to talk about.
I would say Spence Crawford. Spence
I
Crawford.
think
is
we
my
all want to
fantasy
see
fight
that
right now.
shit. That is, yeah.
When you say fantasy, did I answer the wrong question? Or
No. I made that because I want to see that fight too. That was that sigh. It was a sigh of fuck yes, that one too. Fuck.
And it just doesn't feel any closer.
It doesn't. Sean, what you got?
The Spence Crawford is a really good one. So is Bones at any heavyweight. I kind of want to see Fury Wilder 3. I think that,
why?
because that's a good question, right? Because I think a lot of people believe like what Wilder's spewing, that he could come back and actually really make some noise, and I'm on Fury with it. But I would still like to see a third one just to see like that completely get shut. I mean, that's after you guys bring up Spence and Bones, but I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I like those, guy. Man. I'm a rock with I want to see Adesanya versus John Jones. That's the fight that I want to see.
Yeah.
That, you know what I'm saying? I think it's time. I think that it's sort of bullshit that John feels like fucking moving up now. I think that's
like
total
right on
bullshit.
Time, right?
Yeah, like that's irritating.
Go ahead, get
shit.
up out of here.
Yeah, you talk shit all this
Right.
fuking time. You really okay? I digress. Right? Like, let's not go there right now. But
I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. This nigga looks nice.
man,
Yeah. Go ahead and see what heavyweight talking about. Fuck all this.
dog.
Straight up.
And here's the thing. It's crazy because you called this dude out forever, right? Because here's the thing, Mystic. Call my bluff if I'm wrong. He's the one that said his name first. It was not Adesanya. It was John Cole said his name first.
Fingers turned on.
You know what I'm saying? So he goes out there, he says his name, and then this dude, and then Adesanya says this: I need to clean out my weight class first, and then in 2021, I'm about that action. He said that the next interview. He said that. He said, that's it. Guess what year it is?
And guess what he cleaned up?
and guess what he cleaned up?
Right,
and guess what he said he's going to do? Then I'm going to move to 205. John Jones, you idiot. If you waited, you would have the fight. But all of a sudden, you decide to go, and all the people were saying that, Adesanya moved up to this. John Jones has been in the UFC for like 12 years. And he has fought in one weight class, people. One weight class. Adesanya in faster time than Conor McGregor won his 2 belts. In faster time, Adesanya not only won his belt, but then defended it 3 times, and then went to go get the other belt. Come on, son. I'm tired of the fucking Adesanya slander. John Jones looks like a sucker nigga, and he already is. Granted, when he ran out of the damn garage with a shotgun, that shit tickled me. That cracked me the fuck up.
If he go out there and start someone like Stipe, then, I mean, are we still going to be talking?
Which he can. Well, here's the thing. Yeah, I know you guys might have not known. Stipe Francis 2 just got announced. Stipe might not be there anymore. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm very curious to see John Jones fight a big African.
Any one of them.
I think.
Any one of them.
I mean, I think Stipe probably handles Ngannou again.
I agree.
I'll never forgive Ngannou for running around. Who did he fight where he didn't throw one punch?
Oh, you talking about Derek Lewis?
Yeah, I'll never forgive Ngannou for that. I never rocked with him since. I never seen no shit like that in my entire fucking life.
Hey man, Derek Lewis hits like a ton of fucking bricks.
I don't give a fuck. I ain't never seen no shit like
that.
So
does Rosenstruik, but he went straight after Rosenstruik. It was just something
straight after Rosenstruik.
The Miocic thing just messed with his mental, and he was just like, I don't even want to throw a punch anymore. How do I do this? I don't know how to fight.
I've never seen anything like that in my life. He ran around the whole entire fight. I never seen shit like that. It's crazy.
Real quick, before we get you guys out of here, and I appreciate you guys' time. Everybody who's watching live right now on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, thank you guys as always. We have Sean from No Catch Up, Chicago, one of the best, if not, I'm not going to say it's the best motherfucking sports talk show out there. I loved it. I was watching their show last night. The shit had the whole team is fucking amazing over there. Check out their fucking show. On the other side, we got my boy Darnell from Mystic Black, my dude. He holding it down, always doing his thing. I'm seriously, the best interview guy out there. Fuck Ariel Helwani. Mystic is the dude, okay?
I'm coming for everything that
I'm talking about.
I'm just kidding. Let me stop.
You're taking everything I work for, Ariel. There you go. I got your promo. Don't worry, I got you, brother. And none other than my brother from the Guru, B Cam, is joining me on the show today, man. And it's funny. I did all that not like we're closing out just yet, because we have to talk about this. We got a new president. Yo, we got a new fucking president today. Yeah, right, straight up. Gentlemen, today we had, obviously, Joe Biden was, the new POTUS. Salute to the queen, Kamala, man. What were your guys' thoughts seeing all those things? I mean, just as, obviously, just black men watching what we've been through the last year and 400 plus. How do y'all feel about what's going on?
I'm going to give Trumpito a break today. Just because he pardoned.
Say that one more time.
I'm going to give Trumpito a break today because he pardoned Kwame Kilpatrick, and I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy about that, and I followed his case for a long time. As you know, that is my chapter brother. So he out from FAMU out of my chapter. So for him to get 28 years and be home early, that's dope. And so I'll give Trumpito a break today. But on a positive side of things, it was great to see. Obviously, a new era in the White House. We have a black woman as our vice president.
Beautiful.
That's amazing. Something that we've never seen before. Something that an interesting take that I heard today. Something that we may not have seen had it not been for Trump. So I mean, it's definitely great to see. Happy. I'm not sure if they back up half of the things that they said they will do, but we'll see. I'm just happy to have Trump out of the White House. Trump out of the White House is a positive move. We are stepping in the right direction. And I'm interested to see what they actually can implement of all the things they said. I think half of those things don't get done, but Trump is out. We have a Democrats back in the White House.
Everything.
We're in a better place.
Everything. We got everything.
we holding it all down. We got it all now. We got the Senate. We got the House. We got the whole shit. Aside for the fucking Supreme Court. But next, Sean, bro, what you think? What were your thoughts, man, watching it today?
Cam, that Kilpatrick take is interesting. I feel like he really fucked Detroit up for quite a bit. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother
28 years.
But
28 years for nonviolent crimes.
He really had the whole city on. He was. That's a whole nother conversation. The nonviolent crimes I get, and if he's white, he probably gets a lot lighter sentence. There's no doubt about that. I could say that. But he did have Detroit bankrupt as hell, and he was spending all the money. Salute Biden, Harris. I thought it was awesome. I'm going to get the jokes off. I'm not going to lie, man. I really needed Kamala to be married to like a super dark-skinned mystic complexion dude to come out. Like Kamala Harris and Jerome Johnson Jenkins. Like that shit would have really had me smiling. You know what I'm saying?
She could have even
not Bill Smith.
What's up?
She could have made it work with Montel.
Yeah,
and she dated Montel forever. I would have been happy to see Montel.
Hey, we would have taken that.
Oh, dude, yeah, real quick, man. I got some stories for y'all off camera. Don't worry about that one. But
fair enough.
But but dude, I can't stop. When I seen, every time you see Buddy, it hurts.
Yeah, when they announced her name and then his name, I was like, man, if that was like some Ngangwe, like you know what I'm saying? Like that shit would have just been crazy. But we'll have to take Buddy for
Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, Francis, exactly. Like Francis Ngannou.
That should have been hard, bro. Yo, time out. Could you imagine if she was actually married to Francis Ngannou? Could you imagine Francis big ass up there today?
Like just like a big dark motherfucker coming out like the doors. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, she's definitely black. She's definitely black enough for us though, so we'll take it.
We're not gonna talk
Hey man,
about
she went to HBCU.
Yeah, no doubt.
They go to HBCU.
We're not gonna talk about my boy Kodak Black getting a pardon too from Miami from the 305. Come on, now I gotta bring that one up one time for the one time. No, I don't care about Lil
Kodak Black earned his time.
That
nigga needed to sit for a couple years. He was out of line.
Yeah.
Bobby Shmurda, C Murder, all these guys sitting in there. That's like, what about me? What about us?
Because they didn't fondle they didn't finesse the game.
Messed
yo,
up.
real shit. I am sick at my team. Like, yo, bro, all I had to do was back this motherfucker, and I would have got a pardon. Man, send me all the merch. Send me the merch. I'd have
been out there with all the merch.
Turn that hat around real quick. That's right. That's right.
When I thought about it, right, thought about what Wayne did. Now I'm like, hold on. So he knows he caught a case. And he probably had his team holler at Buddy like, hold on, so if I back you on this presidential run, you going to pardon me off this case? He's like, yeah, I'll take care of it. That motherfucker had the red hat on, no problem, taking pictures, everything. You know what I'm saying? So that whole part, the idea that the president could just fire off pardons on the way out the door is actually a crazy concept in itself.
Wild.
Yeah, like he could just fire off like, yo, he's good. Oh, that's my guy. He good. And then leave.
Fam, he literally let out. He literally pardoned the swampiest of the swamp before he left. Yeah. That nigga took the scumbags of the scumbags. Was like you.
Go, you,
and you.
You're good.
You know?
When you're the president of when you're the leader
of that association,
group, you gotta get your guys out. Yeah. So
gentlemen, well, look, good day in America. I woke up feeling good, having fights in inauguration. It was a beautiful fucking thing. Last but certainly not least, the Brooklyn Nets. I just need to get y'all thoughts on this, and I'm gonna start with my New York brethren over there, the Guru B-Cam. I'm gonna ask you this: Is it time? Is it time to finally let go of the Knicks?
No.
Nah,
yes,
but I can jump. Look, I'm a New York nigga.
Please do. I'm a New Yorker too, and I left that.
I'm a New York nigga through and through. I'm fucking rooting for the Bills. Like if you in New York, you in my territory. I get to fuck with you. Because just by being from New York. I'm a Knicks fan, but if you in New York, nigga, I by default get to fuck with you if I want to, and it's not I'm not a bandwagon fan. I just get to fuck with you because I'm from New York. I'm actually from there. And now if you from Chicago or some shit, you trying to say I want to jump on the bandwagon? Hey, we ain't got room for you. But I'm from New York. I've been struggling all these years with the Knicks. By default, I crew who the fuck I want.
I appreciate you fading the question though.
Right?
you still ain't said nothing about the Nets and leaving the Knicks, but you talk about football.
So I'm saying I can root for the Nets without having to leave the Knicks. Without having to leave.
So right here, you would never leave the Nets. So let's say the Nets go on a run, get 3 fucking titles in a row, start building you would not leave. Say fuck the Knicks.
I won't lie. Growing up, I just followed everything my dad did. So, you know, he was a Yankees, a Giants, and a Knicks fan. So that's who I was fans of, just by default. And I saw my dad a couple of years ago, and, you know, we was talking about the Knicks. He was like, yeah, nigga, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm a Nets fan.
Fuck is you talking about? We root for the Nets out here, mate.
The pain. I was like, what?
Hey, you got finessed your whole life, fam. Come on, man.
I'm a Brooklyn nigga, G. It was like, I'm rooting for the Nets. I was like, wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Hey,
Well, let me ask you how it is.
Right now, the Cavs are actually beating the Nets, so let's not jump too quick.
Yeah, true.
Hey, Mystic, what are your thoughts, bro? What are your thoughts on the Nets, man?
Listen,
Are you leaving the Heat? Are you leaving Heat Nation?
I was never with Heat Nation, and I never will be with the Heat Nation. It doesn't matter that I'm down here. I'm actually originally from Brooklyn, New York. Doesn't mean I'm riding with the Brooklyn Nets either. I'm not saying I'm riding with the Brooklyn Nets. I'm not saying that, but I can if I want to. Just like B Cam just said, if I want to go there, I can.
He said by association.
But I'm not. I am a LeBron guy, so I ride with LeBron. But when he was here, I still wasn't doing that. But listen, when all these three guys play together, that's when it's going to be the most interesting. They haven't beat nobody yet. I know they beat the Bucks, but in my opinion, I don't think the Bucks are that good anyway. Have you seen the MVP?
Ass.
You see the back-to-back MVP? You see what he's doing? Nothing. Nothing at all. Gets MVP and your team loses in the second round every season. I'm good off of that. I'm sticking with my man's LeBron's. I think the Lakers are going to do it again. That's all I got to say. Weird loss the other day, but whatever. Going back.
It was bad. It was a bad loss.
Weird.
I'll give you a real take on the Nets and the trade. This is the first game they've all three, just like you said, BK, that they played together. I think getting rid of Jared Allen, their interior defender, big guy, and getting rid of LeVert was my initial, right when it happened, I was like, yo, they traded the wrong guy. They should have tried to move Kyrie. James Harden is a better Kyrie. That's simple as that, right? So
he is.
If you could have kept the thing about LeVert,
I can disagree. Maybe defensively.
The thing about LeVert that was special was that he accepted his role. Like I'm coming off the bench. Like and
he was killing this year.
And he's a starter on probably every other team in the league, right? This guy is a monster.
Except
but he
for
had like
the Lakers.
but whatever. Yeah. He accepted his role. He was good coming off the bench. He was a monster. He was a problem. He was putting up numbers. And now people want to act like it's going to be all cozy and great. Like, oh, Durant will take 20 shots, Harden will take 20, and Kyrie will take 20. Man, those guys are used to handling the rock all the time, literally his whole life. Kyrie has handled the rock his whole life, every single year of his whole NBA career. You know what I mean?
And when he didn't have the rock, he got pissed off and went and left.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting, man. We'll see how it shakes. And I don't know how many times we need to see it, but like when these super teams and shit get together, the first year they never win the shit.
They never win. They
never
win
the
that
title.
first year.
So
the Celtics did. Celtics did.
Yeah,
but you know what? My only thing about that team, though, here's the difference. Those were all old dudes that they knew where their role was at that time. You know what I'm saying? It's like they already knew. Like they came in. It wasn't like three guys that are still
I think they weren't that. Dudes. I think they were around the same age. No, like 30. Yeah, they were around the same age. Yeah,
I feel like everybody. Okay, all right. Well, I'll give y'all that then. I'll give y'all that.
KD's older than I thought. I kept thinking KD was like 28 or something like that, but he's like 30, 33. No,
33,
yeah, he's a lot there.
He's been in the league forever.
Yeah, dude, he was a part of the Seattle Supersonics.
That's crazy. Crazy to think about, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like he's been in the league forever, man. But he's so fun to watch. But that team's gonna be great. I can't wait to see what happens. Gentlemen, anything in closing, man? Y'all want to get on, man?
Yeah. Is anybody watching Your Honor? That show is so fucking dope. It's on Showtime.
No.
It's called Your Honor. It's with Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad. Oh. The show is cold.
I heard about it, but I have not seen it yet.
Yeah,
it is great.
I need a show.
Your Honor. They got like three episodes left for the season. The show is fucking dope. Watch it. We can discuss next week, bro. I promise you, we will not disappoint.
Okay.
And the Rotten Tomato reviews are like kind of off, but like fire.
Shit, I'll check them out. Yeah, I'll check that shit out. No doubt. Anybody else got any shows? Any shows? Any movies?
No, am I watching any shows right now? No, I'm just watching interviews after interview right now. That's my life. All day I'm just watching interviews. I'm just prepping for Saturday and prepping for any fight that comes up. That's for sure.
Seriously, man. Yeah, I don't got no movies for y'all right now, but we'll see. But check it out. With that being said, gentlemen, where can we find everybody? So start with B. Guru, thank you as always, my brother. Where can they find you, man?
They can find me on Instagram at bcam13 with 2 M's and on Twitter at bcamthinks.
That's what's up, man. Sean, bro, what's up?
Yeah, no catch up. Sports Talk via Chicago everywhere, man. YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. Lock in with us. We're talking a lot of NFL, a lot of NBA. Just sports talk with a Chicago angle at No Catch Up Shy everywhere across the board.
My brother Mystic, let him know.
See where it's at right there. Mystic Black MMA on Instagram, Twitter. I'm going to start using that more now. I promise. I got to get back on there, and I'm going to talk that talk on Twitter.
Dog,
it's
that's
going to
where all
happen.
the jokes is at, too.
I know. I'm not on there enough, but I'm going to get on there, and I'm going to start talking on there. I promise. Follow me there, and we're going to get that going.
There it is, man. Well, you guys know it, man. This is the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. I'm your host, Serg Vicente. Check us out everywhere. Podcasting is available. Apple, Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, fightpodcast.com. All right, look, we freaked our IG page, man. If you guys want the best combat sports, like the news, culture news, all kinds of shit, we got you guys. And, hey, appreciate you guys as always. Love you. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on as always,
appreciate
man.
Always
appreciate you guys, man. All right, everybody else, see y'all next time. Deuces.
Later.
Later.